work as a counsellor if you are struggling with your own depression? Interesting question.
Interesting, and it's a question from Elaine Benson, one of our Facebook members. She says, just a question to throw out there: if a counsellor is diagnosed with depression because of the meds they have been taking, would you seek private counselling and take some time out from training? Well, I think this is a very interesting question, and just to put some perspective into this, I did a bit of research before we went on air, and I came across the Guardian newspaper, which is an authoritative newspaper here in the UK. And this is from June 2017. Prescriptions for, wait for it, 64.7 million items of antidepressants, an all-time high, were dispensed in England in 2016.
Yeah.
And the most recent data from the NHS, that it was up 3.7 million from 2015.
Yes.
So, we can safely say that we live in a society where people are struggling to some extent with their mental well-being. And, here in the UK, we've lived in austerity for the last 10 years. And, I would say from speaking to people, I know that for a lot of people, life's getting a bit tougher out there.
Oh, yes.
So the question is, can you be a counsellor if you've got depression? Well, I would say if you are taking medication, speak with your tutor. I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult, but I've had lots of conversations with students who've said, I've been to the doctor, I'm feeling, under the weather. And my view would be is that if you know when you're unwell, then, you can continue. If you're very unwell, you may need to look after yourself first, because, this profession is all about self-care. And also, one of the unique things about counselling is that we're asked to take our own personal therapy. And it may be, with waiting lists being so long on the National Health Service for therapy, that people have to pay for it as students. And I've seen students who have had a few difficulties in their life, really resolve them through therapy or make peace with them. I think the only difficulty, and I speak from a former tutor's perspective, if I had someone who had bouts of being really, really unwell, I'd have to take a principled view if that person could really engage in client work. And it's very, very difficult. And it's a very, very difficult conversation to have with someone and say, look, I can see that you're unwell. Do you really think you're in a place to counsel? So my view would be, speak with your tutor, be transparent, have a think. I'd also take a view from trusted people around you. Feedback here is essential. How do you experience me? And if people say, well, sometimes you can be really down, you can be really disconnected, then sometimes they can see things that you can't. But what I would say, just finally, is that I know a lot of people who are really good counsellors who take antidepressant medication.
Definitely. It's a tricky subject. Yeah. And I'm not going to make a call on it. I don't believe we can, because it's as individual as the people that present with the depression. And clinical depression is a very specific kind of depression. And when your brain chemistry is out of kilter, when it's not operating as it should, medication is extremely effective in rebalancing that brain chemistry. And with rebalanced brain chemistry, the theory is that you are once again fully functioning and able to interact and work as you should. And I liked what Rory said. It's about knowing yourself. So much of counseling study is looking inward, is looking about who you are and getting in touch, dare I say it, I'm going to say it, with your demons, and knowing what the demons are and knowing what your unacceptable to self issues are, understanding and knowing what they are and being vigilant. When do they show themselves? When are they present in the counseling room? When are they inhibiting my therapeutic relationship with my clients? And there's the indication, because as soon as that is inhibited, it is no longer therapy. You are no longer fulfilling that condition of that psychological contact, fully being there with that client. And Carl Rogers' theory suggests that if psychological contact is not 100% there, then the relationship will fail, because it is a necessary condition. So it's about knowing self. It's about looking for help in the right places. It's about knowing what your support network looks like. In the depths of depression. Depression is a horrible thing, and I use the word depression because that's the word that's written in DSM. But even that word was conjured up by a pharmaceutical manufacture company. But in the depths of depression, when somebody can't get out of bed, can't face the world, finds themselves in tears for no apparent reason, no, you don't want to be putting yourself into a position where you are there for somebody else with their pain and their burden. But if you're functioning, then I guess that's a call you need to make. What a question, though. That's what I love about our audience, Rory.
It's a really good question, and it's a very sensitive topic. But you know, from the research, you won't, if you are listening to this and you're taking antidepressants, which there will be quite a few people, I would imagine, listening to this broadcast who, because of the statistics, 64.7 million.
Yeah, is,
you know, that's a lot. I mean, I think we're only, you know, there's only 64 million people in the country. So I think last time I looked,
last time you counted them,
last time I counted them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, start again. So you know, it is not unusual, but you know, use the personal therapy, have a long consideration, and most of all, take care of yourself, because you should come first.